Record.
Oh,
There we go.
there we
All
go.
right. We live. We're live. We're live. What's up, everybody out there in HBCU singles lounge land? Here we are once again. Hey, we're trying something new tonight. We're combining the Locker Room Chronicles and the Velvet Room. Let's just call it the Velvet Locker Room Chronicles or something like that. I don't
Okay.
know. We're gonna get it up to the ladies. And what we're talking about tonight, oh man, something that we've a lot of people been talking about in the background of everything, dating after a certain age. Now, first we said dating after 50 or dating after 40, but then everyone have become politically correct and say after a certain age, but we all know what it is. When we start losing that enthusiasm for dating and not willing to do some of the same things we used to do or put up with some of the same stuff we used to put up with in our dating lives. And now we have to navigate this new pandemic thing on top of it. Dating after a certain age, how do we do it? And how do we do it successfully? We got Rhonda we got Rhonda, the host of the Velvet Room. We got Sheena.
Yes.
You know, she's the back and forth host of the Velvet Room. We got Lyndon, my main man, one of the hosts of the Locker Room Chronicles. And dare I say, the infamous Daryl, the Black Marvel that got stuff to say in the chat behind the scenes. He's coming in live to expound some of his opinions on the subject matter. Welcome,
Right.
y'all. Let's get
All
into
right.
it.
All right.
All
Let's
right,
do it.
all right, all right. First of all, let me correct Bill real quick. Let me get him straight real quick. No, I'm just joking. I am very happy to be back. I have missed you all dearly. My girl Rhonda held it down for me. I am so happy to be back with you all. My HBCU SL family had to take a little break, had a lot going on, but your girl is back. So I'm happy to be here, and especially on a topic like this.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Ooh, indeed. Indeed. Well, I'm ready to. Now we're
You
gonna see
ready?
how this goes. We're gonna see how this goes. But yes, I'm ready. Let's
Well, okay. Let's stop playing around and let's get into a nice, juicy question topic that everybody out there might be thinking about. What what have you found is one of the most difficult hurdles in trying to date after a certain age? Anybody can jump in. See,
well.
look, y'all getting tongue tied because y'all don't want to say. Renee, come on, you're gonna have to
Well,
listen up.
you want to start?
I'll start. I'll go. I'll go. For me, it's the consistency.
See,
Trying
she's
to
coming with
find
the C word. Yes.
a gentleman that's consistent.
Mhm.
And there was a conversation in the chat or in the group today about ghosting. And why do we do that? And I know no one owes anybody an explanation as to why they do things that they do, but it's just common courtesy to let someone know that maybe you're not interested, or maybe they just weren't your steed or your vibe or what have you. But just consistency, it is so difficult, and especially when we want to date a brother. That
Mm-hmm.
let's just put it out there. um you know I had a conversation with a friend the other day, and she asked me, in looking or seeking love or relationship or what have you, does that need to come in the form of a brown or black man? For me, yes,
Yes.
I would prefer. I would prefer. But she said something that kind of hit me, and I was just like, no, it can't be. So her thing was there's a 3-to-1 ratio, 3 women to 1 man. Then you got to factor in those that are incarcerated, those that may go both ways, and then there are those that just don't find Black women appealing. They don't want us the way we want them. So where are we as Black women? Where are we left in that whole circle with regards to wanting to find love with someone that matches our hue? So that's the biggest dilemma, or one of the dilemmas, is finding one that is consistent, that looks like me, that can relate to me. Um, we talk about we talk about finances a lot in this group, and whether or not
Oh
a
boy.
woman is sorry, Bill, I'm sorry. But that's one of the hot topics, whether or not a woman can do, what we're asking a man to do and all. And look at the group we're in. We're in a group with some of the top notch, HBCU graduates. So we know we can afford whatever we want to. So it's not even a question about, whether or not he can provide for me or take me. I just want consistency. Plain
Consistent.
simple consistency. Start out how you want to finish. That's my thing. So I'll pass the mic to somebody else and give them that opportunity.
Word. I'll go ahead and jump in on this
Go ahead, Derek.
because it's one thing for a man, yes, to be consistent. Yes, we do have that ability and we do have the desire to be consistent. It's also another thing for women to be able to receive my ability to be consistent because I have done this. However, I'm sitting over here by myself. So, women, are you able to receive a man being consistent? And when I've done this, I've been told like, "Oh, now I think you being dishonest about something. Now you got to be lying about something because I ain't never met nobody like you. So something got to be wrong with you." I'm like, "Why something got to be wrong with me? I mean, I'm giving you all my truth, and that's my job is to tell you and show you the truth. However, I can't make you believe it. But if I'm lying, I'm dying. And I think I got one person on here who can back me up. Ava, am I good at being consistent?"
I don't know if Ava's gonna check in, but
Yes.
go ahead. All right, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, that could be a problem. Sometimes we ask for something, and then when we receive it, are we truly prepared what we ask for? And that consistency thing. Yeah, there's some other subjects, between men and women that, men ask for certain things and everything, and then when they receive it, they're not really prepared for it. Vice versa with women. I mean, but should this be a problem after 40 and 50? I mean, are we still going through these adolescent things that we went through at 20?
But let's
Bill,
be
Come
let's
on,
be
Brother Lyndon.
real. I mean,
I see Lyndon
let's just
waiting. He's
be
chomping at the
real.
bit, ready to say something. I know he
Go
wants to
ahead, Linda.
respond. Go ahead, Lyndon.
um, yo, one of the things I found before I met Renee that used to just totally irritate me being over 40 was just the number, and this crosses gender aisles, so it's not just women, it's whatever, but it just to irritate me the number of women I used to meet that were totally devoid of integrity and that used to just run game. It amazed me. I hear women say, "Oh, well, men are running game," but there's just as many women running game as men.
Mm-hmm.
And it amazes me how when I hear women say that, there's a concept that we talk about in the Locker Room Chronicles about the exception and the rule.
Right.
The rule is all men about game, but the exception is, well, Well, if a woman does this, then she had a reason to. That's the exception. So those are some of the things that really frustrated me. And I'm not going to speak for Renee's experience before she met me, but when I was out there, that used to just, irritated me. And one of the things is a principle I live by, and it's a creed that I have, and it's real simple. Honesty just keeps everything basic and simple. You keep it honest, you don't have to worry about it. Because what happens is, my mother taught me one thing, and I'm 53 years old and I've lived by it. If you tell one lie, you have to tell 2 or 3 to cover that one lie up.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
so, and and before I met Renee, I met, excuse me, babe. There was this one woman that I met, and she would tell me something, and I had to tell her one time. I said, "Do you remember the lie you just told me the other day?" I mean, really, so honesty just keeps everything simple. And I think so the fundamental question, Bill, and everybody else on the panel, whoever everything else is listening, I think that was some of the, challenges that I saw. So, Renee, you want to
Right.
Come on, Renee. Spit it out. We
I
know
know
you
you
got
saw.
some experiences. It don't have to be on that particular thing, but what were some of, before you met this good brother right here, Lyndon? What were some of your challenges maybe in the dating scene after a certain age?
Well, for me, it was, I think, rested within myself because I didn't trust myself to put myself out there for dating,
Okay.
so to speak. So I didn't feel like I was ready to receive. So I shied away from it. And then the circles that find men that are over, 40, and the atmosphere to find those men. I had a lot of friends that did a lot of online dating, and then I just completely like shied away from that and was timid and scared of that. So yeah, for me, I just felt like that I wasn't ready.
Okay.
That's a
Yeah,
good
that's a
point.
challenge right there because it's like, you got to teach an old dog new tricks with this online dating stuff. And you're like, I barely have, I had some troubles with trusting people even
Yeah.
after you meet and go out on dates and stuff like that. But now here it is, you got to throw, your trust spidey senses and stuff kind of like out the window for half a second. There's like this this moment of living in la la land, or this moment of suspended disbelief. Like, all right, in order to put myself out there online, whether it's doing online dating or just maybe meeting and hooking up with somebody online and then trying to build something after that, we're not used to that. Back in the day, we met you we saw you in person first. We asked for your phone number or something like that. We called and then we started chopping it up face to face, where you get that body language and stuff like that. Now we got to learn to sift through all this BS that somebody may be using their representative to project out there online their best selves, and trust all that. And once we read through all that, to see what we got left to work with. Rhonda?
Right. No, I agree with all of that. And just to chime in on my piece too, with the consistency and the being able to receive it, Daryl, I hear you. I know that there are women out there who are not able to receive there. And I also know, like Linda said, there are women out here running game. My issue is that there are women who are not doing either. And we're being pushed to the side immediately because the assumption is that we're going to be running game. And which I know women do the same thing to men. I know that happens. Again, it's a whole trust issue. It's a whole being willing to be vulnerable issue and all of that. But like I think the question you asked, Bill, was, when do we get to the point where we stop playing these juvenile games, right? It's like you're at a time, I'm 51. I don't have time for the games. I'm
Thank
honest
you.
to a core. I'm honest. You know me. You see me. You see me. There's no representative. I am my representative,
Mhm.
right? And it's like, if you're not gonna be, if this isn't what you want, okay, fine, peace, goodbye. But just be open and honest
Yes.
Mhm.
and
Yes.
grown and say so, right? Or and I can say, or if I say this isn't gonna work for me, okay, accept that, receive that, and let's move on. Let's not get into the oh, well, you stuck up, you this, you that, all of that foolishness either, right? So it gets to the point where it is. Some days it's just like, you know what, I'm good. I'm just gonna stay by
You
myself,
get
right?
tired.
You just get
You get
tired.
tired.
Then
You
it's
do.
like but you are, and then I'm in this house by myself, and it's like, oh, I don't want to be by myself. This isn't right either, right? So it's like you go that roller coaster
Mhm.
back and forth, and it's just like I have I'm glad you brought up the money thing, Arshina, because that was actually the plan to be the topic for the Velvet Room this month if we had it, or last month, about the whole money thing. Because again, there's this assumption that some of the men seem to have that women are only out for a free meal or whatever money we can get. And then the other assumption is that they will only want men that make a whole lot of money. But then, like you said, we're all college graduates. Most, I mean, at least we've attended college. Some of us might not have graduated, but we've attended, we have education, we have our own. At this stage in life, 40 and 50, we should really have our own, right? We should have something to bring to the
Mhm.
table. So it's not a matter of, for at least for me, it's not a matter of finances. I'm good financially. I just want
Mhm.
that person that is going to support me emotionally, that's going to be there, and we can, if we can combine finances and go even higher, that's cool too. But right now, I'm not even. Let's just get to the point where we can be in the same space and we can enjoy time together and we can maybe travel and do some things and then think about the whole bigger picture later without all of the preconceived notions that it's going to
Mhm.
be a game or that something is going to happen. That's my issue. It's like, come on, let's at least get to that point.
Yeah, well, I think, a lot of times that some of those problems that come up with, I just materialism or, our preferences or whatever dealing with, you know, um, the other person has to have a certain type of level of education, make a certain amount of money and all that other stuff. That adds all those hurdles, in our way. Some of the stuff that we should have went ahead that should have been the first one or two hurdles in this 100-yard dash that we went ahead and stepped over or jumped over, and then we seem to circle back around in the middle of the race for some god on for some reason, and start going and jumping over hurdle one and hurdle two again. How are we ever gonna cross the finish line and get that relationship that we're honestly looking for when we steady stacking hurdles in front of each other at this age? I ain't got too many jumps left in me, y'all. I'm telling you.
For
Do
real.
you think it's just people are afraid to be vulnerable? Do,
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
Mhm.
people are afraid to let that wall down, or afraid to put themselves out there. And I know a big part of that, because in our age bracket, I'm going to say 40 and up. I'll say that. You know, dating is not what it was when we were, like you said, Bill, before you meet someone out somewhere, you give them your number. It's not that anymore. So unfortunately, we are at an internet age, where we are having to meet people in cyberspace and hope that they are who they present themselves to be. So to me, that adds another layer of trust that you have to get over, or that you have to somehow um, win over, or get to that point where you have to trust that person is who they say they are, number one. And number two, just get accustomed to this new age of dating.
Mhm.
Now I do internet dating. I am on well, I deactivated my account, but I was on Tinder.
Mm.
The number of people that the men, I can't speak for the women, but the men that lie up there, it is ridiculous. I'm like, just be honest. Just be honest. And then you wonder why I'm giving you attitude. I'm giving you, you know, I'm giving you a hard time to get to know me because you're not being truthful. You're not being truthful about who you are. So to me, I can't be vulnerable enough to get to know someone, and I do put myself out there. Sometimes I think I put myself out there too much, but because I'm ready to receive that love, that commitment, that I'm ready to receive all of that. So I do find myself putting myself out there more than probably what I should. But at this point, I'm like, that seems to be the only way that I can kind of chip away that interior, hardness that I have, is just to keep consistently putting myself out there. But I'm like you, I don't have much more of that left. I don't have much more of that left in me because it's tiring.
Yeah,
It's tiring.
very
And
tiring.
like Rhonda said, you on one hand, it's just like, you know what, forget it. I'm good. Me and my girls, we're gonna travel. But at 45, as much as I love my tribe, I'm ready to have a vacation at this point, and not just me and my girls. I love them and I
Right.
still want to do that, but I want to have a vacation. I don't want to, you know, and I'm an empty nester. My daughter is gone, so I have this house by myself, and
Mhm.
I'm just tired of that. But I'm also tired of, that knee jerk getting to know you and then you back away, getting to know a new person. And then it's just like, this is no lie. And y'all might laugh at me. I have saved in my phone a little, when I was doing the online dating, um, a little script that I had
Mhm.
typed out to say, you know, hi, my name is Arshina, I'm da 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 da, just like a little introduction, that elevator
Right.
speech.
Right.
I have one of those typed out so that, if I meet somebody, I wouldn't have to try to think all over again, like, what do I say? What? So I just had this little script typed out, copy and paste, copy and
Mhm.
paste. And it's
Mhm.
gotten so robotic, this whole dating thing, it's just gotten so robotic and mundane,
Mhm.
and there's no excitement in it anymore. And I have about this much left in me before I say, you know what, I'm done. I'm
Right.
done. So that's
Black Marvel, you look like you got something to say, brother. Go ahead and spit it out.
like he's ready to take my head off. So
No, 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 no,
I
no,
don't
no, no,
know
no, no,
what.
no. No, I'm not here to take anybody's head off or anything. I can only go by my experience. 'Cause, when you were talking about being online and doing the online thing of why do men lie and I can't, even as a man, I tell this to my homegirls that I talk to all the time about relationships. I say, even as a man, even sometimes I don't get why guys do the shit that they do.
Oh,
And
man, brother, I'm tired of sticking up for the brothers when
Yeah.
they, man, I'm like, y'all piece of shit and y'all making me look bad.
exactly, I'm just like, and the funny thing is, it's amazing. Like when I look around, I'll be like, damn, how are all these trash ass dudes getting these women?
Right.
I'm like, just trash. I'm just like, what the hell? Like, so is that what I got to do now? I got to be an asshole? I just got to blatantly be a jerk just for a woman to be? I'm just like, but I can't do that. That's not my spirit. So I refuse to conform.
Mhm.
But it. Initially when Ava told me about this, it's called dating over 40, and like Rhonda, I began to ponder on it a little bit, and I started thinking, I'm like, well, shoot, dating over 40 ain't really been too much difference than dating from my mid 30s either. It,
Mhm.
it ain't really been no differences. I mean, I've had all kind of various, experiences, and to the point where I will say this is that I've been hollered at by more married women than I have single women.
What?
Which
Yeah,
has
bro.
been amazing. Not only that is I've also been approached by more women who were older than me. Like I'm gonna wait, or like almost old enough to be my mama, like 15 to 25 years older. And and that kind of boggled me for a minute because I'm like, why all the hell all the women that's in their 30s and their 40s? Why I got these 50 and these 60-year-old women trying to holler at me? And and it's just been crazy. Another thing is I'm in Atlanta, just so everybody knows, I'm in Atlanta, and like some of my homegirls back home I grew up with and graduated with from high school, they would ask me like how I was dating in Atlanta. And I said, it's hard to date in Atlanta. I said, ooh, wait a minute, let me take that back. I said, dating with integrity is difficult in Atlanta.
That's good right there.
Because again, with the honesty thing, I could be honest all I want to, but that doesn't mean that she's going to believe it when she sees it or when she hears it. I had a woman I dated, this was probably maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. She told me I was too real and she couldn't deal with that. And I was like, okay. So another big thing, even with meeting women for me is I don't know what it is, but it seems like you can't even just be cordial. Like I would try to say good morning or like hi, how are you in passing, like whether it was at the grocery store, Target, even at church. And I mean, I've been looked at like I was crazy.
Yeah.
I got fussed at, blatantly ignored. I even got cussed out one time. So I just got to the point was like, okay, I don't want to be arrested because I don't want nobody thinking I'm harassing them. And I haven't been swung on yet either. So I just like, you know what, let me just back up. Just let me not say too much. And let me just, stay at my own and keep it like that.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things before I met Renee, and after my divorce, I couldn't, for whatever reason, I couldn't beat married women off of me with a stick. I don't know what it was. I just couldn't. I couldn't shake them. It was like it's like I had every married woman that wanted to be saved from a problem marriage was just flocking to me, and just like Daryl, in terms of extending some element of just being genuine. One of the things that was frustrating for me is that you couldn't approach woman. You sometimes when you just approach a woman, it was like sometimes a woman would look at you like you had an automatic ulterior motive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's being nice to me, so he must want to smash. And I'll give you an example. I'm in federal law enforcement, so I just got a promotion on my job, and I'm a firm believer to whom much is given, much is required. And I'm feeling good after my promotion, and I'm on my way to work the next day after getting my promotion, and a young lady standing behind me in line at Sheetz with her daughter. And I said, "You're getting that?" And she had some coffee, some juice, and some donuts for her daughter. And I said, "Go ahead and put it up here like that." And she said, "You sure?" I said, "Yeah, please." And she says, "Thank you." I said, I just got a promotion. I'm feeling good. And I trying to just pay it forward, She says, "I thank you, but I'm not going to give you my number. I'm married." I said, "Ma'am, wasn't about that. I'm just really just trying to be nice." And that just really took it it just really deflated the moment for me, because it really wasn't about that. I just really wanted to pay it forward. But it hurt me to my spirit, because I was just really trying to be nice to this lady and her daughter by buying a cup of coffee, a little thing of orange juice, and a freaking donut.
Brother, I feel your pain, because we've had a few posts before talking about, is chivalry dead, right? And who killed it?
Nah, it's not dead, Bill. It's on life support though.
It's on life support. Yeah, I agree with you. And after reading those couple of posts and some of the comments, it became very discouraging, because there are some brothers that still have that, that gentlemanly spirit, and they want to, whether they're trying to, holler at somebody, or just like Linda was saying, just be nice or whatever, or be some type of representative in the world saying no, chivalry isn't dead. There are some brothers out here that have been taught by their mom to, respect a woman, hope open the door for a woman, do these type of things. But then when you go out there and do them, you get that smack in your face, and it's like, okay, why am I receiving this type of hostility when, all I wanted to do was pump gas for the lady because it was cold as hell outside. You could tell she didn't want to be pumping her own gas. I just said, would you like me to pump your gas for? I'm already out here cold. And it was like, no, you're trying to attack, that whole attitude was like, you're either trying to talk to me or you're trying to attack me. Okay, so where does that come from? Brothers, we have messed the whole game up. We have approached these women in the wrong way so many times before that a lot of times, they fear for their safety. There are women still out here getting snatched up in white vans and stuff, And, I'm not saying that that's all brothers' fault, but I've seen a couple of videos on, YouTube and Facebook and everything about how these brothers will offer to pay for things or pump gas or open the door and just hound the lady. And that makes them step back a little bit. And for us brothers that are actually genuinely trying to, do something chivalrous, it doesn't play out the same way in reality that it does in our, in our head. What's going on with that, and how can we overcome it? Renee, you got something to say back there?
He does.
I'm sorry, I got to interject because Bill, you just made me think about something.
Go ahead.
One of my friends, she's actually an HBCU alum too. She attended Langston, but she was down here. She was one of the GMs for Zaxby's, which is one of the fast food, restaurants down here, kind of like Chick-fil-A. They serve chicken. And one day she called me. She was like, "Hey, can you go pick up one of my assistant managers for me?" She had to go to the other store. And, because the young lady rode the bus or whatever. And at nighttime in Atlanta, when it gets late, as later it gets, the MARTA slows down. So, and she would have been out there by herself for a while. It took a while to get home. So I said, yeah, I'll go pick her up. So I pulled up to the location, and I parked in the parking space, and to a point to where I could see in my rear view mirror when they were coming out the building. So as they come out, I get out the car, I go around to open the door for her. She gets in, like it's nothing. I close the door, hop in the car, we talk on the way, take her to her apartment, do the same thing, get out, come around, open the door. She hugged me and she said, "Thank you." And I said, "No problem." I got in my car, watched her walk inside, and I left. The next day, my homegirl calls me cracking up laughing. I'm like, "What is wrong with you?" She was like, she thought something was wrong with you. I'm like, "What are you talking about? Nothing happened." She kept asking me, "Why did he open the door for me? Why did he get out the car and open the door for me?" And she was just like, "Oh," she's like, "That's how he was raised. He was raised like that."
Right.
And it just blew my mind. I was just like, wow. And I wasn't even dating this woman. I was just doing my friend a favor. Just go picking up one of her employees. That was it. So this, like I said, this wasn't even dating. But I've had similar experiences to where I was dating a woman. I opened the door for her. And next thing you know, I'm hearing, "Hey, can you do that again?" And I'm looking around. I'm like, "The hell?" And this woman is like, "Yeah, you. I need you to do that again so my boyfriend can see what he's supposed to be doing." And I was like, I don't think she's gonna want to wait for your boyfriend to learn a lesson. So, but I was like, "Good luck to you." I got in the car and we did. But yeah, the chivalry thing is crazy.
Okay. So in response to Daryl, and I'm not making any excuses because it's ridiculous. To me, if someone is doing, attempts to do something nice for you, just accept it.
receive it. Say thank you
That's
and
me.
move on.
Just,
Right.
just accept it. Bill, same thing. You trying to do a good deed, Lyndon trying to do a good deed. And I'm sorry. I'm going to apologize on behalf of the ignorance that you all have had to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
The only excuse or the only reason I can come up with is because it does not happen often enough for us to recognize that you are just being a gentleman. It does not happen, as often. So when it does happen, some of us, just like we said before, don't know how to receive that. Now, those of us that I don't want to piss anybody off, but those of us, and I just don't want to say those of us that were raised with some common sense. So I'm just gonna say those of us that,
Just were raised. Just were raised, right?
yeah, we were reared differently,
Yeah, differently.
knows that what you are doing is very chivalrous and kind, and you're doing it because you want to. A lot of us don't know how to receive the generosity and the kindness that you all, as gentlemen that were reared properly by your parents,
Mm-hmm.
are exuding on us. And
Mm-hmm.
so it makes you all question, just like you're sitting here now, like, damn, why did I put myself out there to do something nice for somebody and they just gonna throw it in my face? But
Right.
my encouragement to you, keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Keep doing it, because we don't get it enough. That's why when it does happen, it's like, whoa, wait,
What's that all
what just
about, right?
happened here? You know what I'm saying? Or, if you give someone flowers, not because you're attracted to them, but hey, I'm just giving you flowers. You know what I'm saying? I
Mm-hmm.
thought you might enjoy them or whatever. Or pumping gas or paying for a coffee or something. Keep doing those things, because just like learned behavior, the more you do it, it begins to change the thought process of how people are thinking and receiving. Now, Daryl, you said something earlier, like now women are approaching you that are old enough to be your mother. Well, I'm getting them old, I'm getting them young enough
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
to be dating my daughter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
I'm getting 25, 26, 27-year olds that are, and I'm like, dude, I'm 45 years old. No, I can't. I can hook you up with my daughter if she wasn't dating someone. But so it's just a reverse. So what happened to that gap? What is going on? And it's crazy because all of us in this group are, well, I hope we're all single, with the exception of you, Lyndon, but for the most part, I think most of us are single. And but my question is, how many of us are genuinely ready for what we're asking for? Even at our age, because I noticed in the group, people might talk a good game, but when you call them to the carpet, it's like they shy away or they back up or what have you. So,
Mm-hmm.
are they genuinely ready? And if you're not, let's be honest about it. Let's be honest and say, you know what? I'm good where I am. I'm good just, being a friends with benefits or whatever. I'm
Right.
cool with that. But don't lead people on to make them think that you are ready when you're not. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree
anyway,
with that completely. I was looking at some of the comments in the chat, and they were talking about, we were mentioning about married people being the most active, and I see people talking about, married but still single, those types of things. But I think well, at least what I've experienced, or just in my little observations and trying to understand um, some of the actions of men our ages, sometimes I'm like, why are you acting like you're 22, 23? But then I think about it. Some of them have been in either marriages or long-term relationships for long years, and they're newly single again. They're feeling like they might have missed out on something, right? So they may be trying to recover and recapture some of those things that they missed. So yeah, biologically you might be 51, but romantically you're still 23 because you got married at 24 and now you're trying to go back and recapture some things, right? So I
Mm.
mean, I think that's part of the disconnect. Um, Also, younger men are coming at us. Younger women are coming at the men our age too, right? So the little 26, 27, 28 year olds that still got all the little perkiness in the tiny waist and all that, they are they're the ones that are getting the attention, possibly calling them daddy and all that. And and so it's like, and it's already, you mentioned earlier that there was already a limited number to begin with. So if this limited number, that's adding to the limit, if they're going for the 20 somethings, um because they again feel like they missed out on something earlier, those, it's a whole big mess sometimes, right? But it's really, I think, important to your question to be real with yourself. If Are you really ready? And if not, say so up front, which is cool, because I might be okay with the friends with benefits thing. You don't know that. You Just because I am wife material doesn't mean I want to be your wife, right? I might see that person as, oh, okay, this can be a cool little situationship while I find whatever, but unless we talk about it honestly and are real about it, we'll never know. So I think that's part of the issue too. We come into it with assumptions, the lack of vulnerability, the lack of honesty. Um, I've just gotten to the point. I think also we're tired. I know men are tired too. I know
Oh,
they're
yeah.
tired of the foolishness.
We're tired. We're tired. And
Tired. Yeah, just and back to the whole chivalry thing too. It burns me to my core when I see women not receiving the chivalry, right? And a part of it, I think, is because maybe they haven't seen it. I grew up in a household. For years I didn't think my mother even knew how to pump gas because I never saw her do it. Right? My father always did it. And one day I asked her, I said, Mom, do you know how to pump gas? She was like, Girl, yeah, what are you talking about? I said, I've never seen you do it. She says, Well, your dad does it, but if I'm by myself, I know how to do it. It's fine. I can pump my own gas. My father opened the doors for me. I teach my sons to open the doors for me. They open the doors for every woman, right? So it means those types of things are passed down. So if someone hasn't seen that or hasn't experienced that, then they don't know how to receive it. I ride the metro. Well, before COVID, I rode the metro every day. I live in the DC area, Metro DC area. And I would see young men get up to give their seat to a woman. And she's like, No, no, I'm good. And you see her standing about to fall, carrying all these bags, all this stuff. And this young man has tried to give you the seat and they won't take it. Like, okay, after a while, they stop offering if people keep saying, No, I'm good. So, I mean, that's an issue. I think that's something that we have to teach women, that you deserve the right to be treated kindly, right? And that you can receive it and not have to give anything in return. Just say thank you and keep it moving, right? And so that's a whole different dynamic that I think is an issue.
yeah, I think well, the way I was taught, and sounds like many of the brothers here were taught, there, when it comes to whether you're dating or not, number one, you have this respect for womanhood that you should hold up glory and honor, right? And how do you show it? You do chivalrous things, you do gentlemanly things. And then now there was a time period where it was accepted, and slowly but surely, the older we get, it seems like, coming into the 2000s and on, it's become a lost art. It's become lost. Renee, how did you feel when, like, before Lyndon, hey, Lyndon, put your ego in check. Uh, how did you feel when men approached you or tried to do, certain, gentlemanly gestures in order to maybe seek your attention?
I, if they did, I just accepted and went on. But I've also done that with men. So I
Oh,
want to look
okay.
up.
Explain. Let me hear
Like
this.
I was like out, CIAA, be in a bed, standing, waiting on a drink. He's standing just as long as I have. I said, put his drink on my tab. And then he's
Oh,
like, oh my God, I've never had that done before. I'm 50 years old. I said, well, just enjoy your night. Hope I'm changing your perception. And I move on and go back to my group. So,
hey,
so
I like
yeah.
that, Renee. I've done that too. I like that. That's good. Yep. Yeah, that's good. It does work both ways. It does happen both ways sometimes, but we just have to be open to it, right?
Let me share with you all something that I did recently, and this is an example of putting myself out there, and sometimes again I think I do it too much, but I did it. So I met this guy, and of course during COVID, he was very close to his family, or he is very close to his family. And so he had a birthday coming up, and of course he didn't want to go around his family because his parents were elderly, whatever, which is fine. So I said, well, what are your plans for your birthday? He was like, oh, I don't have any plans. I said, well, let me make some plans for you. Let me plan something for you. Okay. So um I don't think we could go to dinner because he had something. He was like an assistant principal or something at a school, so he had something else going on. I said, "Well, I'll tell you what. I'll get you a cake, your favorite ice cream, and just have cake and ice cream. Just to do something nice to let you know, your because birthdays to me are like holidays. I celebrate all week for my birthday. So birthdays are very important to me. So I just wanted him to feel special for his birthday. So I went and got him a cake, had a cake made, went and got his favorite ice cream, took it to him, had a beautiful card, presented him with the card for his birthday. And it was like, to me, I don't think he was able to receive that because it had never been done before. And he was shocked. So I got like text messages for a couple of days after that saying, thank you. No one had ever done that for me before. But I just want to say to the guys up here tonight, to the guys that's listening, to whoever might see this, there are women that do things for you. We don't always expect you to do those things for us. There are some women that are genuinely kind and want to do nice things, and we're not expecting or hoping that we're gonna lock you down, or it's just being, like Renee said, just being nice. I'm just being kind. And I don't know if he took that gesture as if, oh, she trying to tie me down. I'm like, dude, it's just cake and ice cream. And guess what? He ghosted me. And I was just like, so for, it took me a while to say, I could have stopped there and said, you know what? Never again. I'm not doing anything, but I'm not going to let that stop me from being kind, because I'm not going to block my blessings because he didn't know how to receive a kind gesture. If I meet a guy, I don't care if, just been talking on the phone for a week and he say, you know, I love Crown Peach. Well, guess what? The next time I see him, he's going to have Crown Peach. It's not because, it's just, I like doing things for people. That's just how I am. I just enjoy seeing other people happy. I enjoy doing things. And a lot of my friends are like, girl, you crazy. You spending my, like, if I would spend it on one of my girlfriends, I'll do the same thing for a guy friend. And I'm not looking for anything in return. It's just, to my core, that's who I am. I'm just a kind person. If you tell me your favorite juice is, whatever, well, you might look up and have an Amazon order shipped to your house of, this juice or something that you like. So it's, to me, we just have to, I think and I'm only going to speak for brown people because that's me. I just think we just don't know how to accept, kindness and generosity without in the back of our minds thinking that there's an ulterior motive.
Mhm.
So,
Okay, so
yeah.
we've identified this problem, right? That for somehow, some reason, and maybe it's not just within the Black culture, it's just the dating culture now, period. But there are like there are like ingredients in the whole dating game that's just been thrown out the recipe, right? Like, oh, we don't need this, we don't need that, we don't need to be chivalrous, we don't need to be nice and kind. We can lie, we can send representatives, let's add that instead. And you know, how did we get to this point? And how do we get back to, you know, ah, let me try to put this in a way that's not offensive. How do we get to a point where if these things are needed in order to create successful, healthy relationships, right? Being nice and kind and doing chivalrous things and stuff like that. And that's missing out of the dating scene now. How do we get it back? How do we get it back? And how did we really lose it in the first place? Maybe that'll help the solution and how we get it back.
That's a good question, Bill. I mean, how do
Lin-
we
Lyndon, come on, brother.
yeah.
You
The
know,
wheels are spinning.
I don't know what I mean. I don't know if I really have the right answer, but for me, um, I, I think like one of the things I think to help people, I think you have to be very careful with your time, and I think people have to vet people better. I think the power is in the vetting. You just can't just give people access to you just because. The first sign, if the math doesn't add up on the first meet, you dismiss them. It's like, there's 3 strikes. The first strike, they're done. Don't give them a second chance. And, and that's kind of when I was out there, I never gave people a second chance. If the first red flag, that was the thing that I was good at. And when I went through my process after my divorce and I was healing, I never made it a habit of collecting red flags. If I collected 1 red flag, they were done. And I moved on. So the first red flag is move on. And you vet them, you vet people better. So
Okay, all right. Black Marvel.
Honestly, man, I'm a time on in kind of the ghosting and appreciation as well. Or showing gratitude. I think with the ghosting thing, for me personally, I understand why people ghost. I really do. I get it because some people just can't accept rejection. Men a lot of times have an incredible difficulty accepting rejection, and so I get why women have to, ghost the way they do. For me personally, though, I feel that closure is good for me because if you let me know like what you disapproved of, or maybe what your red flag was, that can help me for my future growth and my self-assessments so I can do better the next time. That's just me though. But and I can't speak for no other brothers. That's just me personally. And as far as, displaying your gratitude, my last relationship, the woman I was, dating, I would tell her thank you. And her response wasn't you're welcome or, I got you. It was, well, you stop thanking me for every damn thing. So trying to accept, each other and be and display gratitude when somebody does something for you instead of acting like you owe me this or I'm owed this because I got the chip on my shoulder or because James, Timothy, Malik, Kareem, they all did me wrong. So, you owe this to me anyway. And it's like, that's another one of my big things is I'm tired of paying for the sins of other men.
mm-hmm.
It's like, if I have not committed my own atrocity, please do not, please do not, please do not make me pay for it. Allow me to commit my own and then punish me for it. But I mean, if you're able to predict what I'm about to do and all that, I need you to give me them Powerball and the Mega Million numbers. If you're gonna
For real.
all that. If you're gonna be able to predict and tell, like, because I haven't even done nothing yet, but you already knowing I'm gonna do it. Like, come on now, give me an opportunity to
Right.
mess up before I actually mess up.
Mhm.
And I mean, what's to say that I'm even going to mess up? I may
Right.
be your surprise.
That's
You
true.
have no idea, but you would even give me the opportunity to mess up before you already condemned me for messing up. I'm
Mm.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Hey,
That's
I feel your pain, but
mm,
what we're trying to dig deep in, and what we're trying to do here now in this late part of the show is try to provide some type of solutions in order to help the viewing audience and even ourselves on, you know, what are some of the things, or what are some of the tools that we can use in order to right this ship, get us going in the right direction, to maybe help us produce some successful, opportunities out there. I heard vetting them from Lynn, that vetting them and using your time wisely and not wasting your time, because we getting up there and we ain't got time to be wasting. um I heard being able to accept generosity as well as give it, right, from Daryl, and Rhonda and Ashina. We're willing to put ourselves out there. How can we help those that might not be at our age yet, that might are starting to experiencing some of these problems that in the dating world, since the whole dating scene has shifted. I mean, this thing, the
right.
pendulum has swung,
It has.
and trying to stay on this pendulum and stay relevant, at least until we get a chance to get hooked up with somebody for a
Right.
lifetime, is the worst. Especially when we have these attitudes. There are some things I ain't putting up with. There are some things I will not go through again in life. There are some things that, you know, uh, my significant other, whatever, has to have in order for me to, want to be there. What can we do? What can we do? You got
Well,
Communicate,
anything?
communicate, communicate. We got to communicate.
yeah,
I mean, I think that's one of my old bosses used to say, communication is the key to success. And but it really, really is. You have
Mhm.
to communicate, but you have to communicate with honesty, right?
Mhm.
And and it's hard to do. It was hard for me to do. But we in that honesty is when the vulnerability also has to come out, right? And there's some things that you're just going to have to risk, if you will, after you've done the vetting, like Linda said. You're not going to risk it with everybody, but after, if you get to the point where you found someone that you think is worth the risk,
Mhm.
you're going to have to step out there. You're going to have to, and I'm not saying give them your whole life, but be open,
be
right? That was one of the
vulnerable.
things that a male friend told me a while back, which I told you I kept getting the feedback from men that you don't need me. And I was like, what am I? I haven't said, I've never said those words. I've never, but my friend said, no, Rhonda, you have it like two together. You don't look like you need anybody for anything. And I was like, but I'm not
But
understanding. It didn't make sense to me, right? And so I'm like, but it's not that am I supposed to be walking around here asking for stuff? No, I don't, that's not in me. But what he did say I needed to do was be more clear in the fact of, okay, yes, I need your support, your friendship, your communication, your energy. I might not need your stuff, tangible stuff, but I do need that. I need the support. I need, and just be open with that. And that took some introspection for me to be able to like think about the things that I need. And that's really when I came to, I was like, that's really what I want. I need someone in my corner rooting me on, because I'm the one that's always cheerleading for everybody else, right?
Yeah,
So that is, that was a kind of a turning point for me. Again, I've had some long-term relationships, and for some reason they just fizzled out. But I know part of it is, and I think I mentioned this on one of the Velvet Room shows. I have a praying mother. My mother prays profoundly, and her prayer is always, if these men mean me any harm, for them to leave. right? And so evidently somewhere along the line they must have meant me some harm. I don't know, because they left, and I'm just like, I might be a little sad about it, a little confused about it, but then I'm like, you know what? Oh well, okay, and keep it moving. But it is one of those things where, in order for things to shift and to change and for to break down some of these walls, we're going to have to just communicate honestly and with a certain level of vulnerability.
That's
I,
that's
I want to.
yeah,
I
go ahead.
want. I want to add to the other night on. I want to say it was Amsterdam Talk with Rod and Kamal. Uh, I think it was Dr. Fee. I think her name. I can't remember her first name, but
Mhm.
they talked about preferences over what was the other word? I can't
Standards?
remember the other word.
Standards, I believe.
What
Yeah.
was it? I'm sorry.
And
Standards?
Standards. Yeah, preferences over standards. So I feel like sometimes what you need may not come in the package of what you're expecting or looking for. So that's number one. We have to get away from, you know, the preferences that we have because more, I won't say more than likely, but a lot of times what looks good isn't always good for you. And so for me, my advice was just look outside of your box of preferences. You never know, you know, what someone else can offer you may not be who you imagined yourself as being, you know, being with, but what's in that package may be exactly what you need to push you beyond your wildest dreams. And I posted something today on my personal Facebook page that I want to share with y'all. So it said, "Imagine mishandling me when I was sent to be a blessing to you." So don't don't look at the box. Look at the gift on the inside. So that's my advice. Stop looking at what it looks like and figure out, like Rhonda said, Rhonda has figured out what she needs. And I think it transcends to a lot of us. We don't need your stuff. You know what I'm saying? I have a house. I'm not looking for a place to stay. I have a car. It may not be a Bentley or
Right.
Maserati or whatever, but it's my car. I paid a note for it. So I'm not looking for stuff. At this age, we shouldn't be anyway. I should say that. So figure out what it is that you need, number one, and look for or seek out someone that can fulfill that need. Not just a minute, not just instant gratification, but think about down in your core. If you are a type of person that you need a cheerleader, then damn it, find your cheerleader.
Hmm.
If you need someone that can help manage, find your manager. You know, the manager may not look like Beyonce or what's Megan the Stallion. Hell, she might look like Oprah. But if that's what you need to be the best you, then that's my advice, Bill. Find out what it is that you need and find that in someone. Don't look at the package. Look at what that person can offer you. So that's my 2 cents.
Hmm.
Good, good. I would suggest that you know, just like Lyndon was saying, another way to say it in a more spiritual sense is we have to practice, put into practice discernment,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Um, Rhonda, you spoke about your mother praying, about, if they mean you any harm and everything, send them on their way and everything. That's a level of discernment that she has for you. And even if you're not using your own discernment at the time, that spiritual discernment is taking the place and weeding out and filtering out these individuals that may not uh be deserving of your spirit, your time, and your relationship status and all that other good stuff. Um, we have to stop looking at that outside package, like Arshina was saying all the time. Yes, it looks good, body banging, the whole nine. Yeah, we lust after it, but that's what it is. It's lust. Sometimes it fades after time. We know black don't crack like that, but you know, everybody goes through these different things through life. The older we get, we start to um accept the fact that you know when we're young we're like, oh man, we're invincible, we're gonna live forever, I got it going on, damn, I look handsome as shit, damn, I'm bad as shit, da 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 da. And then 40, 50 creeps up on us and we're like, okay, those things are shallow in the relationship realm. Let me try to discern those things of quality that are actually going to help us have successful relationships. I see y'all smiling, laughing over there. What's going on? What's going on? Share your story.
She gets a clown. That's all.
I know she's sitting over there right cute and everything. Man, making you turn red and everything. What's going on?
Oh, it's a softer side of Lyndon that we don't normally get to see, right?
Yeah, that's what keeps Lyndon grounded right there.
Right.
I see, brother. See, I'm trying to get where you at. All right.
Mhm.
We all are.
We all are, yeah.
Relationship goals.
Right.
They don't see that side of me.
We don't see that side of him. He's always so serious and stern in the locker room chronicles.
Hilarious.
Right.
Yeah, Lyndon's a
Sorry,
funny.
Bill.
Nah, but I'm glad that even Renee was able to discern
Right.
a softer side of Lyndon that that we weren't able to see. So that that ties right in and what I'm talking about. You know, I understand that I just met Lyndon and everything months ago, only virtually. Can't wait to meet him in person. But you could tell the brother is serious. All right, the way he talks is serious and everything. His line of work is very serious. So I don't know how you did it, Renee, to crack that exterior shell and reveal and discern that softer side of Lyndon. But that's what I'm talking about. That's what we need to get to in order to find the real, that essence of what we want in relationships.
I think that goes back to again the vulnerability piece, right? Because
Mhm.
he might have shown his hard exterior at the beginning, but eventually he
Mhm.
softened up and you see the sunny side, right? She's not here. So I mean that's also men and women have to be vulnerable at some point and open um and that's not easy. That's not easy, especially I think at our age because we have experienced hurt after hurt and disappointment after disappointment and gets to the point where you're like, you know what? I'm done. I'm finished. I'm not doing this ever again. And then here comes somebody that's like, oh, well, maybe I'll try one more time, right? And it's like,
Mhm.
and then you hope that that one more time is the last time, and then you pray that that one more time will be the last time you have to go through this whole process again. And like you said, don't have to keep the script saved in your phone anymore. You don't have to remember because that's one thing I don't lie because I can't remember the lies. My memory is getting worse, right?
Exactly.
So it's just like let me
Exactly.
just tell the truth and and be who I am. And it is what it is, right? At this point, take it or leave it. But I think that we've had this conversation about the preferences and all that, and I agree. Yes, we sometimes they do get in our way. I also believe that God's gonna give me the desires of my heart. So the package is going to come in a package that I can appreciate. It may not be my normal, whatever my normal type might be, but it's not going to be one of those situations where I'm going to have to be like, I don't know if I can, be with this person or not, right? That's not going to be the case. It's going to be, and I've dated tall, short, light skin, dark skin, old, young. I mean, it's just, there's always something. The beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So I believe that is a piece too. So when we start talking about these preferences, I think some people think that we're saying you have to settle. I've heard that. I've seen that a couple of times. Why are we telling people they got to settle and why they got to be with somebody ugly? We're not saying that. We're saying stop being so caught up on this list of things that you think are important, and you're forgetting the core values, which really are, right? And that's what's really the important piece.
And trying to play up to what these societal
Oh yeah,
you know
all the fake stuff on Instagram.
expectations are and everything like that. Now, one thing that we haven't touched on, right? And it might be getting kind of late, so let's kind of keep it concise and short. But dating after 40, 50, or whatever, these expectations that you might have from your friends and your family. Who's experienced some of that? Like going to family reunions and they talking about you ain't married yet, or
Right.
when you gonna have some kids, or when am I expecting grandkids and all this other stuff. I know some of us, our parents probably even stopped you know looking for that. Here's another little twist. Some of us have kids. You've talked about your empty nesters and everything. Your kids are grown and stuff like that. Um, Dating with somebody that might have kids that's still in the house.
Yeah,
That is a challenge
it is.
nowadays with dealing with somebody after 40 or 50, or even dealing with their adult kids. I mean,
Right.
I think that's even rougher than dealing with children that's still inside the house. Because not only do me as a man have to um make sure that I'm doing the right thing and being respectful to the father of whoever I'm pursuing. But I gotta show and prove to maybe their adult son that may be 22, 23 years old or whatever. I can't come in there messing with their mama and they already don't want me there in the first place. How do we navigate that stuff at this age?
It is an issue. I think one of the relationships that kind of fizzled out. I think it happened because I am technically an empty nester too, but my son came back home. He came back to live with me, and it's like the guy that I was seeing, once my son came back home, it's like he stopped. He didn't feel comfortable coming around. Now my son is 20, 21 now. So at the time I think he was like 19. But it was like I didn't understand why he didn't feel comfortable being in the same space with my son. Well, this was a time when I was dating outside of my preferences. This guy's like, I'm 5'8". He was probably at my height, 5'8", 5'9". My son is 6'2". I don't know if he was a little intimidated by my son. I don't know, but it was just like he didn't want to be in the same. He just felt uncomfortable being in the house when my son was in the house, and I was like, my son ain't paying you a bit of attention, right? He didn't care. He would just come in, say hello, go about his business, do whatever he had to do. But it is something to think about. It's like, why did people, like, I purposely didn't date when my children were younger because I did not want to bring some stranger in the household around my kids because I would catch a charge over my kids, right? So I was like, no, I'm not dating while not, at least I was dating like out. No one was like enough to come home, meet my family. They weren't that close enough. But now that my children are like, one is totally out of the house, she has her own house. One lives in another state, and my youngest son moved back home for a while until he's about to get his own place. We're mostly roommates here more than like mother son type situation. We
Yeah,
barely
but
see.
brother don't know that. Shoot.
Well, yeah, that's true, I guess. But
I mean, as far as he's concerned, that's kind of like that's your husband of the house. That's the man of the house, and there's like a power struggle sometimes when it comes to a man approaching a woman with an adult son and everything like that. There's some testosterone stuff that goes on right there, You know, you gotta
But
feel
then
each
that's where
other out a little
communication
bit.
comes back in, because he would have, if he had said anything like that, I would have been like, that's not my son. Don't run anything around here. I pay the bills in this house, right? But also, my son was also very polite and, you know,
No,
cordial, and it
that
was
ain't
never that struggle.
that
I
ain't
raised.
it. That ain't it though, Rhonda. There's something deeper than that. Speaking on Daryl, come on, brother. You know what I'm talking about. When you got to deal with somebody, son, that might be, you know, feeling themselves a little bit, and that's my mama, and who are you? And
Honestly, I never, the last girlfriend I told you about, who was the one who wasn't receptive of my displaying gratitude. Her oldest child, at that time I think he was 22. Now he ain't never like stepped to me or nothing like that, but I kind of felt like he was, definitely looking at me sideways. As the same with her brother, and her brother was because she was actually she was like a year and 11 months older than me, and then her brother was like a few months younger than I was, and he really wasn't. He was kind of looking at me crazy too. Now their father, her dad loved me. Her dad loved me. Her mom loved me. Her daughters loved me. Even her son's wife, they loved me. But it was just her son and her brother that was kind of like, I don't know about this dude. And she even admitted that her son got in her ear a little bit about me and was like, are you sure about him? And so she allowed her son to infiltrate her thought process. And I'm like, you listening to a 22-year-old
Right.
about some 40-year-old grown folks business? That's what I
Mhm.
was thinking in my mind. I didn't say that to her. I just kind of was like, okay. I mean, I get it. I'm a son too.
mm-hmm.
I gave my mom a little hell about, my current stepfather, and that was just me just being, that was 15, 16 years ago. And that was just me being a bit of an ass at that point, just because I felt like I could. And, just because I seen, like I said, just like he saw what his mama went through, I saw what my mama went through too. So,
Right.
that's where I got it from. But I kind of just, that's why I didn't really say anything. I just kind of let him have it. And I understood where he was coming from. But my mom still went ahead and did her thing, and that was the difference. She didn't go ahead and allow us to continue to do our thing. She allowed it to get deeper and allowed it to fester more and more. On top of that, I also gotta say I'm divorced too. So I'm sorry, I'm happily divorced.
Right.
Okay.
Um, so I've been down and done the wedding and the
Right.
marriage thing. At least I tried. I
Mhm.
put it
Okay.
like. But circling back to dating with kids, I had to make some rules too when it comes to that. Just not with kids though, but about with your people too. So for me, it was if I'm dating you, my thing is like for about at least 6 months, I don't want to meet like your parents. I don't meet your siblings, your cousins. I don't meet your best friend, I don't meet anybody. Now, if we're out and about and we just so happen to run in to them, we know we're not going to be rude and we'll solicit greetings and introductions. Cool. But if we can avoid that, I would prefer that. When it comes to kids, nah, we got to be doing something for at least a solid year before I introduce you to my kids. And I don't want to meet yours either for any
Mm,
reason because, especially with small kids, I don't have a problem dating a woman with small kids. But because I'm a big kid myself, and I interact with, I'll interact with your kids. I'll treat your kids just like they're my own kids.
mm-hmm.
I do that with any woman I've ever dated. But we have to have that established foundation before I go there because I don't want to get this attachment and then this child is coming to you saying, well, what happened? You know, or your parent or your people come to you, well, what happened to so and so?
Right.
And I definitely want my people come to me, ask me about that. My daughter, it broke my daughter's heart when I broke up with my last girlfriend. And because she was like, well, daddy, what happened? And I'm just like, well, we decided to be friends. And my daughter was like, oh, daddy. And I'm just like, so,
Mhm.
that's my thing about the whole dating with kids thing, whether they're adults or whether they're still in grade school. I'm
Mhm.
done.
All right, Linda, Renee, navigate it for us. How do you do it?
I'm sorry, say that.
How do you do it? How do you do it? Because I know you have kids, Lyndon. I'm not sure about you, Renee. Do you?
Yeah, I have two, a 28
Okay,
and a 30-year-old.
okay,
My
okay.
kids.
Oh, y'all perfect. How do y'all navigate that?
Well, my kids have mad respect for Lyndon, but like Rhonda said, communication and he came in, with communicating to them, and sometimes they bypass me and go straight to Lyndon with stuff. So yeah, they have bad respect. But again, they're 28 and 30 living out on their own. So I'm an empty nester too.
Yeah. My dynamic is a little different than Renee's. I have a 22 and a 14-year-old. And my 22-year-old, he's a senior at Virginia Tech. And then my 14-year-old is a ninth grader in high school. So it's a little different dynamic, and in full transparency, no liars here. You know, Renee hasn't, met my 14-year-old or either. The stars just haven't aligned. It's been COVID and stuff like that. It's just happenstance. So y'all know how I get down. I don't,
Right. Right.
I don't lie. But Renee's going up with me to Blacksburg to Virginia Tech, and she's gonna meet Ryan, my oldest, and stuff like that. So, but I love her. Her kids. They're pretty cool, and I think for me, when I met them, when I met them, I didn't send my representative. I just let them know who I was and how much respect I had for their mom, and I just let them know from jump how powerful beyond measure I thought their mom was. So yeah.
Oh,
That's great.
right. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's, the key, just to let them know. We all know those tense moments are gonna happen and everything, but I guess you gotta be very transparent, honest, and let them know how you feel about, that other that you're trying to relate to, and let them feel comfortable in knowing through your actions, not just your words, through your actions, that there's total respect, um uh there's love there, and you can be trusted. Rhonda, that's true
Yeah,
with you?
no, I think that's definitely true. And I think, for my adult children, they know they haven't met they've only met maybe 3 people I've dated in the last 20 years, because I've been divorced. This March will be 21 years I've been divorced, right? And over those years, again, I focused on them mostly. So the people that they met, they knew, oh, this person must be pretty special to mom because she don't bring anybody around us, right? So they did see my hurt, if you will, when the relationships didn't last, but they were not like, they were there to support me and just be like, okay, mom, well, you're good, you're fine, you're all right. But they know that, I'm going to continue on and move forward and things like that. But that was the part that I was trying to get across, is that when the fact that this man met my son, already told my son, okay, this is someone that mom really respects and cares for, because otherwise I wouldn't know anything about him. I might know his name because that's who she's going out with that tonight, but that's it. And so the fact that he was in my house, and that's a whole nother issue, that the fact that he was in my house to begin with also shows that there was a higher level of respect, and that he was able to meet my son meant something. So that's why my son was very respectful to him and towards him, as well. So I think again, it's all about communication. It's about that respect is important. I think Lyndon did the right thing initially, which, by just saying that and showing that. And I'm sure um, Renee's children saw that and received that. That's one of the reasons why they care for him so much, because that's what all kids want. They want their parents to be happy, and they want that love and respect to be evident. And actually, my own children get upset with me sometimes because they say I'm too nice to their dad, right? They're like, "Why are you so nice to him? He doesn't, but he's their father, but I'm trying to be respectful as their father, and the fact that he is my ex-husband, trying to, and they're like, "No, we get it. We know, mom. We see how he is. So you don't have to be so nice to him all the time," right? So I mean, it's that type of thing. They are very protective of me, and especially my daughter, and but they also they respect my discernment and my opinions as well. So I think that's important, and we keep communication open is
All right.
importantly.
All right. Man, man, time has flown, and it seems like we are going to need a part two to this, because I feel that we've touched on a couple of things, but there are some things out there that I know are still dwelling in my spirit that still wants to solve this puzzle, this riddle that we have in mastering, dating after 40, 50, a certain age, whatever you want to call it. There's some golden nuggets that we pulled out tonight, but there's still some more that we can find. And I look forward to maybe doing a part two on this. What you think?
Okay. Yeah.
Be
Sounds
good.
like a plan.
Good,
Sounds like a plan.
good. Yeah, I think we're running over on time and everything. Maybe an hour and 20 minutes or something. But so let's just close this one out and look for a part two, y'all, out there in HBCU SL Lounge land. I said SL Lounge, but whatever. Y'all know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean.
We do. We
We're
do.
gonna come back. We're gonna approach this. Actually, this whole topic we're talking about dating after a certain age. I mean, I could have used this knowledge from jump.
Right.
18 on up.
Right.
So it's really not anything different. It's just dating in this modern age, in this new tech and all COVID and all this other stuff. We gotta sharpen and master some new skills in order to get to what we really want to get to.
Gotta be
That's true.
creative.
With that being said, thank you, Arsena, Rhonda, my man, Black Marvel, Lyndon, and Renee. Thank you for blessing us, Renee. Come on back again.
Yes.
Hey, we got to do this again. The combination of, the Velvet Locker Room was astounding, man. I like it. I like it a lot. So let's do this again, y'all. And let's brush up on this topic a little bit more later on.
All right.
All right.
y'all.
I'm here for it.
I appreciate it.